Algebra 1, Unit 3, Module 7, Linear Equations and Inequalities, Lesson 1, Modeling Linear Relationships. Okay, guys, let's begin. So the essential question is, how can you model linear relationships given limited information? So the first type that we're going to talk about is slope-intercept form. Okay, so there are usually a couple different kinds that are at play right now. Okay, but let's talk about that a little later. The department offers a frequent buyer's card to earn reward points, right? For customers making to purchase, customers make purchase, customers make at the store. Okay. Oh wow, that was difficult. Sorry. Each transaction. Ooh, whenever you hear the word each, what comes to your mind? Each. Another way to say that is what? It's worth 12 points per purchase. See that? Per. And that's a ratio. Ratio is a fraction. Fraction is a rate. Ratio is a rate. What's rate? Slope. Slope is the change in y and change in x. So you have to make those connections, guys. Okay? And then customers earn up to 25 points when they sign up. What's another way to say when they sign up? Exactly. It's kind of like saying that at the beginning, initial, right? So all these things are kind of important. So here it is, guys. Whenever you see, okay, first of all, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That's the first that you should have had. The keywords. When you see a slope, which is m, anything that says rate, ratio, per, each, speed, and cost per item. Like something cost $5 per gallon, $5 per whatever. Anything that has per, right? A ratio, right? That's a slope. Y-intercept. The keyword is initial value. Blah, blah, blah at the beginning. The bathtub already has 15 gallons, right? At the beginning, the height of the candle is, and so on and so forth, right? So anything that implies the beginning value, the initial value, we call it the y-intercept. Now, so when you have a slope-intercept form right here, guys, right, there are two kinds of things, information they're going to give you. Right? In this particular case, right, it gives you slope and an intercept. What other types are there? Well, first of all, this is a side note. I literally draw a dotted line on the side to make a note. Side note. Get it? Okay. So we got two types. First type is you got 2 points are given. Immediately you're going to find slope. And then see type 2. Because once you make a slope, you have a slope and a point. So the second type is that they'll give you a slope and a point like this one. Well, almost. The point that they give here was happened to be y-intercept, which could be interpreted as a point. So when you have a slope and a point, use your favorite form to solve for the linear equation. The first type is y equals mx plus b. Okay, if you're given a point, plug in point xy with a slope, you could find b. But if you're given a b, you're done. That's all you need, right? If they give you a point and a slope, you could put it into point slope form. So you could do either one. Okay, so we've been practicing that, guys. So let's analyze this for a second. What information do we have? We have the slope is equal to 12 points per, and the b is what? 25 at the beginning, right? We analyze the information. We're going to formulate the plan. If you have m and a b, what do? We're going to use mx plus b. Plug it in, and we're done. So it's going to look something like this. What's the given information, guys? The keyword, each transaction. Where is this? Okay, there you go. Each transaction is worth 12 points, right? When you see that, right here, guys, okay, you're going to say m is equal to 12. Oopsie. Right. There you go. Let's see if I can do a better job. There you go. Each transaction is worth 12 points. That you immediately say M is equal to 12. The phrase 25 points when they sign up, the B is equal to 25. And we're going to be using y equals mx plus b, and the y therefore by plugging each value for the m and a b, here and a here, we get y is equal to 12x plus 25. When you're taking notes, do me a huge favor, write everything down, okay? Sounds good? Okay. And then, how many points would you have after 10 transactions? How would you do that? If you said plug in x for 10, you're absolutely correct. So the question is, how many points? Y, I don't know. That's what we're looking for, right? That's why we don't know them, right? And the x is 10. And then you plug that into this part right here, right? And then once you do that, we end up with this. So 12 times 10 is 120 plus 25 is 145. We're done. So we can conclude that this is true. Okay. I did it this way with 25. But what you could have done instead is maybe... Oopsie. Yeah, that was a choice that I made, but on hindsight, maybe I could have done it a little bit differently. So what I could have done when you're drawing it, maybe make that 50, 100, 150 is good. So that's 25 right there, right? So initially, what did it have? What was the initial value? Y-intercept is 25. So that is 25 right there, right? And the point was 10 and 100. So 10 is right here, 150 is here, 125 is right there, around here somewhere. And you connect those two. There you go. Okay. Yep. That's what the graph looks like. Okay. And when I was a student, we used to do this a lot. Y is equal to 12x plus 25. I guess it's an old practice. We tend to write the equation right on the line. Now that I look at it, I should probably get back to doing that. Okay. We good? Questions or concerns? There's none, right? Okay. So let's move on to the next set of questions. Oh, I forgot to clear this actually. Let me clear this. There you go. So now we have another world question. This is actually a fairly common question, right? Maybe I should describe it as maybe a third type. All right. So what we have is the Band Booster Club is selling T-shirt and blanket wraps to raise money, and they want to raise at least what? $1,000, which is what? Funding has to be greater than or equal to 1,000. But how do you raise the funding? Well, by selling shirts and whatever, right? Ooh, look at this. T-shirt costs $10 each. What does that mean? That's the rate, isn't it? But you know, to figure out how much you're going to make. So for example, if you have $10, if you sell one of them, what do you get? $10, right? If you sell two of these t-shirts, you make $20. If you sell three of them, you make $30. And then what if you sell 10 of them? You make $100. What if you sell T of them? Well, you create 10 T of them. Look at the pattern. And same thing with a blanket wrap. If it's $25, you sell one, it's 25. You sell two, it's 50. You sell three, it's 75, ... If you sell B of them, that's the amount of money that you make there. Right? Exactly. So the sum of these, when you add them up, has that up to the funding. Is that making sense? So when you do that, this is what I have. Okay. So let's go with a T for the number of shirts and B for the number of blankets. So the t-shirt each costs $60. See that? So ultimately you go through the pattern and you're like, okay, that'll be 10T. All right. We're analyzing the information for now, right? Blanket wrap costs $25 each, like 25 times 1, 25, and so forth. 25B represents the amount of money that you get from blanket wrap. And the booster needs 1,000. At least 1,000. greater than equal to. Let me put greater than equal to. It needs at least 1,000, right? So what we have here is the money raised by the t-shirts, meaning T amount of t-shirts sold is 10T. And the money raised by B number of blankets is 25B, right? B is the number of blankets. Each one costs $25. T is the number of t-shirts times how much it is per, right? Now, when you do that, the total money raised by the sale is the sum of these two. And that has to exceed 1,000, at least 1,000. So how do I do this? What we have here is, it's actually greater than equal to, but let's do the minimum first, because we are doing linear model. Okay. At least 1,000. So what I should done is this should be greater than or equal to here, guys, right? So now it's in a standard form, isn't it? So what we do is find the t-intercept, meaning we want to make that 0. Remember in the past we with the cover method, right? We cover up this part so it sort of disappears, right? So 10t is equal to 1,000, the t is 100. And the b-intercept is when t becomes a 0. Cover that up, you end up with 40. So I kind of drew this over here. And now what do I do? So I just made those individual points. Let me get rid of this for a second, okay? All right. Now that once you have it, that's the minimum. But we could have more money, right? So the more you sell beyond this, the more money you take, right? So what we can do is instead now, we need to shade them. Oopsie. Let me be careful. From here. There you go. And the entire shaded region plus this line is a feasible region in which there are solutions, right? So if you sell, as this number indicates, right here, 20 and a 50. Let's say if you sell 20 blankets and a 50 t-shirts, you'll make $1,000, right? Obviously, if you sell more, you're gonna make more money. You're gonna raise more money, right? So those are the minimum. So these are the combination of blanket and the t-shirt sale that should satisfy the goal of fundraising. Okay, okie dokie. All right, guys. Now let's jump over to the okay, your turn. Okay, try this on your own. Pause the video, please. Okay. Here is the answer. So we could go over that in class when we get a chance. All right, guys. I shall see you in class. Okay.